ladies and gentlemen, all the ships at sea and such. Uh, got our good friend Joel here. We're going to start going over what's going on in the market because we know that you are really confused, just like we are, because so many things are happening right now. So we're going to just start it off as usual. Let's just go ahead and start going over the numbers for the week. So over the last 7 days, we had 700, as you were, 1,373 properties come on the market, 233 come back on the market, which is about normal. And this is the part that is continues to happen. We have 1,894. So my math is correct. That's 511 more price decreases than we had properties come on the market. We had about 800 go under contract, 638 sold, not too many expired at 58. And you see this number 234, the withdrawals. We're starting to have a lot more withdrawals now because the sellers who wanted the I want this amount for my property, I don't care, they're realizing they're not going to get that, so they are dropping out right now. So that's where we stand on that. And what I wanted to do quickly is kind of show you where the market has been, so you kind of get a good picture. So let's see here. So if you look, going back, we're going to look at solds pretty much. You see 1424, 664 sold. Going back to July 10th, 1560 came on the market with 983 sold, so still lower. Coming on back here, back to 19 June. You're starting to see a little pattern here that's going on. More listings are coming on than were sold. If we go all the way back to, let's just say here, April, we had 1,117 sold, while only 905 came on the market, which is what we had seen for quite a bit of time until we had this little wall that we hit here. So that's one of the things we're having an issue with, if you haven't figured that one out. So let's go ahead. And let's go ahead and do those market stats real quick so we can talk to Joel for a good long time, because I'm sure he has got some great information for us today. So let's just go back and look at what sold for the month so far. And of course, break this down to Vegas only. And just overall, the average close price was $585 and the median was $435. Here's the one thing to notice. The close price for everything is lower than the list price. So the days of paying $30,000 over are over. Let's break this down. And we'll just start with condos and townhomes so we can just compare them. So average close price was $285 while the median was $278. Let's compare that against last month's numbers. So last month the median was $290 while the average was $296. So you see, yes, the price is coming down. Now, I only put those together because we are trying to compare those against what the board puts out. Let's just break it down to condos here real quick. Okay, so 255 and 240. And as you can see, both are less than the list price. Townhomes. $330 and $335, both. Well, no, actually the average is lower than the list price, but the median is slightly higher. If you can hear my dog in the background, he only wants to act up while I'm online and stuff. So 1,446 homes sold. Okay, 545 was the average compared against 549 for the list, 570 compared to 574. Now look at this. 470. I said 570. Let's look here what last month it was. 480 for the median price. So yes, the prices have started to turn. So we have hit a definite inflection point, and you can see it in the amount of time homes are spending on the market right now. So let's get in here, and I'm going to show one more. Let's both in here. And this one are the interest rates, and then we can have Joel talk to him a bit. Whoops. Okay, let's talk about interest rates, Joel.
Yeah, so the rates, if you take a look at them, I mean, they've gone up and they're staying up. You're still looking in the fives and even the 6% rates, which of course, like we talk about, they're always historically low. So you got to take advantage of it now. One thing that I've noticed going on with that of the interest rates, individuals in general, you know who never ask about what the rate is, Eric?
Who?
These individuals that are picking up investment properties left and right. They're not saying a single thing when they get a rate close to 7%. And wonder why? Because they're not paying the mortgage, the tenant is. So when we look at these rates here, when you see something in the low fives or even in the very low 6%, a lot of people are always so quick to freak out and panic. But these investors are just buying properties left and right, paying way higher interest rate, and they don't care because the tenant is paying their mortgage. So don't get too caught up on the rates. They're still really good, really attractive. Keep in mind that they are fixed and rates are going to go back down in the near future. So why panic? Buy if you can afford it, and then just refinance down the road.
Okay. Well, let's talk about interest rates and loans. So I know that the ARM is starting to come back a little bit. So let's talk about what's going on there with the 5.1s and 7.1s.
Yeah, the 5.1s, the 7.1s, they're starting to come into the conversation. It's still not the most attractive time to obtain an ARM because the rates are still pretty historically low. So ARMs, there's talks about them, whether it's beneficial or not at the current time frame. So definitely something to explore. But I wouldn't recommend it right at this second.
Okay, so you would not recommend an ARM at this time?
Not at this time.
And have interest only come back yet, or
interest only? They're starting to come back. So a lot of non-QM lenders. So non-QM are those loans outside of your traditional FHA conventional. They're starting to promote a lot of the interest only loans. So those are making a comeback, and so are the ARMs. And what I'm seeing happening is a lot of these investors are starting to prepare themselves to offer these products in the very near future.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we were talking the other day. Well, actually, I was talking to somebody else, and he was saying that over the last few weeks, about 50% of the loans that came across his desk had seller concessions. Are you saying about the same thing?
I'm seeing about the same thing. Yeah. So right now, when you were talking about, you touched about 18, almost 1900 price decreases. A lot of
Mm,
people are like, "Whoa, the home values are dropping." No, don't view it that way. View it as an opportunity, because
mm,
yes, what's coming across our desk, we're seeing a lot of seller concessions, and they're going into contract for below that of the offering price. So someone's put it. I got one where they were offering 650. That's how much the seller wanted to obtain for the home, and the
mm.
contract came in at 635 with 10,000 in seller concessions. So it's definitely a bargain for those individuals that are in the sidelines thinking about buying or not. You just got to jump on it now. I mean, those price decreases are, stop trying to time the market, because the more you wait, the more you're going to miss out on these opportunities. Like I touched on it earlier, the investors, they're not sitting back and just waiting and waiting and waiting. They're jumping all over this. Look at the price decreases. You got to jump on it now.
Okay, okay, I get it. Uh, so what else is happening that people should know about in the banking world?
Yeah, so a lot of people should definitely be at least be aware that, yeah, down payment assistance programs are still out there, but with the
Okay,
market being so volatile, is that these programs are available one day and they might not be available tomorrow.
okay.
You know, it's,
We ran across that last week, correct? For the
yeah,
hero
we ran
program.
across the last one. Yeah, we were talking to an individual that was interested in a certain down payment assistance program, and sure enough, when we go and take a look at that program, it says it in big bold letters: temporary, unavailable.
Okay,
Next thing you know, we'll check on it tomorrow and it's probably going to be available.
okay,
So
okay.
definitely get in touch with your lender if you're doing any down payment assistance program to make sure that the program is still being offered.
Mhm.
But yeah, interesting stuff.
I know, I know. Okay, let's go ahead and get a little bit deeper into down payment assistance programs. You got Home at Last, Home is Possible, and Channel are the kind of the major ones right now, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So you have your home as possible, you have your home at last, and you have your Genoa program as well.
Mm,
The biggest difference between all of them is that the home is possible, home at last is that with your FHA and conventional loan, and the Genoa program is strictly for that of an FHA borrower.
okay,
And pretty much just to summarize it, with the Chinoa, all you need is a 600 FICO, and you can get down payment assistance 3.5% or 5%. So pretty much you can get in with no money down.
okay. So you can get in with no money down. I'm going to make an assumption that the interest rate is higher with the Channel program.
Correct, correct. It is higher, and there is these programs do have a silent second, meaning
Mm,
that it is forgiven after a certain amount of time you stay in the home.
okay. Do you know what the silent second is on the Channel program?
Yeah, the Chinoa. So depending, if you get 3.5% in assistance, is forgiven after you make 36 consecutive payments. So after 3 years, and if you get the full 5% in assistance, is forgiven after 10 years.
After 10. Okay.
After 10, yeah. Hmm.
Okay. Okay. And I'm assuming those are prorated. So let's say we're just going to go in the future. I purchase a house now for now 470 median price home,
Yeah.
and 5 years from now it's worth 600. And it's like I want to get the heck out of Dodge. I'm assuming if it's a 10 year, and I took that 5%, so I could just walk into it for less than walking into a rental or something.
Yeah.
I would only owe the half of the five because I paid 5 years. Is that correct, or am I
Correct,
incorrect?
correct. So it is prorated. So a lot as the time goes on that you stay in the actual home, a certain
Mhm.
amount it is forgiven as long as you remain in the property. Correct.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And any other criteria for the channel program other than 660 credits? I'm sorry, 600 credit score.
Yeah, the 600, those are the basic requirements. And then, yeah, it's just a matter if you want it 3.5 or 5% in assistance.
Okay.
Pretty
Okay.
simple, nothing difficult. Of course, you got to complete a home buyer education. And of
Mhm.
course, just because if you have a 600 doesn't mean you're automatically gonna qualify. You also got to look, of course, at your income as well and see,
Mhm.
of course, what liabilities you have to see how much you can qualify for. But definitely a
Okay.
lot of good programs out there, right? Individuals are still taking advantage of them. First time home
Okay.
buyers are still taking advantage of them. And not only that, but they're getting these down payment assistance programs. And with what I'm seeing, the seller concessions coming through, the sellers are paying those closing costs. So we are seeing some first-time home buyers definitely capitalize on this opportunity. Where everybody's freaking out about the rates being in the 5 or the 6, these first-time home buyers that are pretty savvy, they're like, you know what, I'm gonna jump in there right now. The
Mm-hmm.
seller's gonna pay for my closing costs,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna go ahead and get this down payment assistance program that's gonna help me with the down payment. And there you go. My mortgage is gonna be the same, if not less, than what I'm paying for rent right now.
Okay. Okay. And I mean, I haven't checked in the last few weeks because I know since the housing market hit that little wall there. Prior to 2 months ago, rents were going up like crazy. It's like that dude in New York, the rent's too damn high. Have you started hearing any more about rents? Have they stabilized or still going up?
I think, from what I've heard, it's still going up, and I think that's the biggest factor and the biggest drive that's driving individuals to look at home ownership.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, so my payment is going to go up. I have this individual that we just posted on last week. Her payment on a two-bedroom apartment was 1,400. In September, it was going to go all the way up to 1,800. So what did she do? She took her savings and she went out there and bought her own home. And her mortgage is going to be 1,800. But again, that's her mortgage, not necessarily her rent. So she's going to have an asset.
Right.
Pretty
And
awesome. And the thing too is, of course, the rents are taking off, and the mortgage, you're gonna lock it in. You're gonna lock in your permanent rent for 30 years, but of course you can pay it off sooner if you want, or you're
mhm.
gonna go ahead and refinance 2 3 years when the rates go back down, and your
I mean,
property's worth a lot more.
now, now we talk about that. Some people say you marry the price and you date the interest rates.
Yeah.
Uh, in the future, we're going to look out three to
Yeah.
five years. I'm sure you're keeping up with stuff with NBA, Mortgage Bankers
Yep.
Association, and everything else. What are they saying like 2 or 3 years from now or 5 years? Where do they see the interest rates?
So here's the interesting thing is that you can pick up the same article in 2 different days and get 2 different perspectives.
Mm,
But I'll tell you the perspective that I do like and that I can see it more of happening realistically is that the rates will be back down in 2 to 3 years. Because
two
of
to three
course,
years.
what's happening now, it's of course inflation is going up, mortgage rates are
Mm,
going up. But what's going to happen with the inflation? Of course, is causing a recession. What happens during the recession? Real estate does it very, very well. And what do we need to cool down the recession? Is we need to go ahead and bring inflation down, which means we got to decrease the mortgage rates. And then what happens when the mortgage rates decrease? Property values tend to increase.
okay.
So good stuff, man.
Well, I get a lot of comments of folks saying they're just sitting on the fence waiting for the next 2008 kind of thing, and they're expecting housing prices to drop 20%. Uh, what do you think of that?
You know, I think those are the same individuals that have been waiting for the past 10 years. Those are the individuals that have missed out on hundreds and thousands of dollars in just pure equity. It's
Right.
like, are we really going to wait another 5 years to see what happens? We're going to
Mhm.
sit here and wait for the bubble to burst that we're calling it when it's not even really a bubble that's not going to burst. And
Right.
it's just, you got to stop waiting. It's like you would have bought when you thought that the market was going to crash back in 4 years ago, you would have been up hundreds and thousands of dollars. And
Okay.
it's just like, we just got to stop waiting and jump into it. Like I said earlier, you can always refinance, which is going to happen in a couple years.
Mhm.
So now is the time to buy when you're seeing these price decreases, which you, Eric, are really good negotiators. So you can negotiate for the buyer to get the seller to pay some of this closing costs, and the buyer really has nothing to lose but just pure win. You know, and the thing that you said about what I think about those individuals that are waiting for the prices to drop is I'm seeing these investors left and right just scooping up properties, putting 20, 25% down, and
Mhm.
they don't care about the rate. Why? Because they're not paying the mortgage, the tenant is.
Okay.
So
Okay.
us, if you're a tenant, you just gotta take a step back and saying, gosh, I really am paying this individual's mortgage. Why
Okay.
not pay your own?
Right. Right. Now, let's talk about some of the differences between 2008 and now. So back then you had the ninja loans and the
Yeah.
stated income loans and things like that, which don't exist now. How hard are you looking at the financial background of the
Yeah.
borrowers now?
It has to be strong. I mean, back in '08, the ninja, no income, no job, no assets will get you into $1 million home. You know, now as you trying to buy $1 million home, you got to really qualify for it. When I say really qualify for it, is that the banks were looking at your income and your credit. You have to be really strong. You have to be really financially stable to qualify for a mortgage. And I think that's the biggest difference between that of '08 and now is the quality of loans that are coming through the banks. It's not just anybody get a home like in '08. Now it's like you're trying to buy a home, but hold on here. Now you really got to qualify for a mortgage, you know? Now we do got to look at the 2-year employment history to make sure that your job is stable and that your income is stable so you'll be able to afford this home, which back then that wasn't the case. Not only that, but in '08 there was a lot of arms, which now these individuals that bought the past couple years, let's talk after '08, now they went ahead and refinance into 2 or 3% mortgages where their payment is dirt cheap, a lot less than if they were to go out there and rent. So are they really gonna let go of their home that's costing them a lot less than if they were to go out there and rent? No.
Mm.
What are these individuals doing that have the 2 or 3% mortgage? They're renting out that home, letting out someone pay for the mortgage and pocketing a few $100 every month, and they're going out there and buying these price decreases homes and getting themselves one heck of a deal and overall earning some extreme wealth.
Okay. Okay. Now, so from my understanding, I was out of the country when 2008 stuff happened. I was just able to see it on the news. Most of it were because all of these ninja loans and stuff and the resets on the arms and everything like that. So these are things that we're not seeing right now, correct?
No, we're not seeing. Even if you want to get an arm, the stack of documents that you got to sign to know exactly what you're getting yourself into, it's huge. So
Mm.
it's not like back then you're signing, okay, I understand that my mortgage is gonna change to be $100. Now it's like you really gotta understand your mortgage can change, you know? So
Okay.
yeah, those arms that we're closing, it's a huge stack of paper that you really gotta understand, read through, sign, and date, which prior back in '08, you just simply signed and that was it.
Mm.
So now you really you gotta know what you're signing for.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
It's it,
So,
it's yep.
yeah. Well, let's get back since we promised to talk about down payment assistance programs. Let's go a little bit deeper into Home as Possible and Home at Last. Can you describe those programs to the audience?
Yeah, so they have so we have two programs in the state of Nevada. Most common is the Home is Possible, which is administered by the state of Nevada, the Housing Division. And that program, like I said earlier, does change daily. And I was looking at it this morning, and it's like, okay, all the options are open as of right now. In a
Oh,
couple of
okay.
days, will they be open or not? Who knows? But yeah, as of the 22nd, with the huge asterisk on there, it says, please know that the above rates are information only and may change anytime. So these programs can change anytime. But with
Mm.
the Home is Possible, you can get down payment assistance anywhere between 2 up to 4% in assistance. And there's also a teacher's program where you get $7,500 and it's
Mm.
prorated over a 5-year term that can help you with that of the closing costs. Now, keep
Okay.
in mind that if you're a teacher out there, you get the $7,500 doesn't mean that that's your fully capped. That doesn't mean that your seller cannot help you pay for more. So you can definitely take advantage of today's market. So that's the Home is Possible. And then you have your Home at Last, which is administered by the Nevada Rural Housing Authority. Very similar program as well. And they do offer a little bit more options as long as you buy in the qualified areas. And I was
Mm.
looking at it earlier today, and yeah, I mean you can get anywhere between 1, 2, or 4% in assistance.
Okay.
So they're still out there, you know. So the programs are still out there. You definitely want to take advantage of them.
Okay. And if they just go to the Home at Last site, they can see the current rates along with the areas that they can purchase in.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you pretty much you can just reach out to me and I'll send you the map and what
Mm.
areas qualify for each down payment
Okay.
assistance program, and I'll break it down for you guys.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean the rate is going to depend on the amount of positions that you obtain.
Okay. Do you mind saying that to me? I'll just put it in the comments for everyone to click on for it.
Yeah, yeah. I'll send that over to you. That way you can go
Okay.
ahead and take a look at it and see it for yourself and read more about it.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Now let's talk about the because everyone's going to wonder this one. What about the FICO scores required?
Yeah, FICO score is 640 to 660. Of course, the higher the FICO, the more options you have available for you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
640 would be the bare minimum. We're trying to do some home at last or home as possible, and then
Mhm.
we're trying to do Chinoa. Then the 600 FICO would do.
Okay. Uh, Even though it was closed when we went through it, can you go over the Heroes program?
Yeah. So the Heroes program is pretty much a program that would give you. I'm just making sure that it's available as of right now, which it is. So the Heroes
Oh,
program is pretty much a program where this by the state of Nevada, the housing division, in which they don't give you necessarily assistance for the down payment because the VA loans 100% financing,
mhm.
but they do give you a below market rate to help you get into that home.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So on that one, it's just a below market rate, nothing to help with closing costs or anything.
Nothing at the moment. No,
Okay.
it's just a
Okay.
below market rate for the Heroes program.
Okay. And the reason I was getting into closing costs, I've run across several folks, especially the VA loans, who believe it's a no, no, no program, no down
Yeah,
payment, no closing costs. And there's a lot of, as they used to say, scuttlebutt going around about
yeah.
the VA program. I have no idea where that started, other than you know, maybe some. I've actually heard of a lender who paid closing costs for one guy I sold his house for. He said, I didn't pay any closing costs. The lender paid them. So maybe that's no. In good times, that has
Yeah.
happened.
Oh
So
yeah. So yeah, especially with the VA, yeah, it's 100% financing, no money down for the down payment, but of course you still have your closing costs involved.
mhm.
And yeah, I've heard a lot of different terms. Some I even had to Google myself. Someone called in and said, "I want the dollar down loan." I was like, "Dollar down loan." I had to Google that one, and then I was like, okay, so that was a term that a lot of individuals are using for a VA loan. It's like I really got to put a dollar down to get into my VA loan. I was like, a dollar down, I never heard that one before. That was a new one.
I've heard that one.
Did you? Yeah. I was like,
Yeah,
dollar
yeah.
down. I was like, that's an interesting term, but yeah, no, you still have your closing costs, which of course can be paid by yourself, by the seller, or even
Mhm,
that of your lender. And just to
mhm.
clarify, the way that the lender pays for it, whether they tell you or not, is a completely different story. But I'll tell you how it is that the lenders pay for it. Pretty much the way that they pay for it, in the good times when the rates were 2 3%, is the lenders would charge a higher rate and give you that lender credit that pretty much cover your closing costs. In the
Okay.
market we're in today, to be able to do that, you got to be okay with a much higher rate to be able to obtain some lender credits.
Okay. But
But
with
you have this price decreases, so you know.
the interest, I mean, for the interest rates, what the market is the way it is now, there's a good chance you'll get the seller to pay your closing cost anyway.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, if you want to come in with a bug for your down, I mean, for the bug, we'll make it happen one way or another, you
Uh,
know. But we'll just explain to you exactly what that means and explain to you how we
okay.
can make it happen. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Now, I know we've just talked about the big programs. I know there are other down payment assistance programs like, are they still running the, oh man, what do you call those? The Culinary Union? Is that
The
program still
culinary,
running?
I used to hear a lot about it. I haven't heard about it recently. So
Mhm.
I'll be honest with you, I don't lie. So I don't know if they're still even offering it or not. But that's a good one. I'll definitely look into that to see if they're still running that program. But yeah, the culinary was a big one.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I think that one gave you like 20,000. They'll match it,
Mhm.
but it does have to get approved through the culinary themselves. And
Right.
I've had some experiences. Well, yeah, you just gotta if it's available to you, doesn't necessarily mean it's the best thing out there for you, but it's definitely an option you want to consider.
Okay. Okay. Are there any other programs? Because I get this one all the time. What programs are there for me? Because I'm a senior. No, everyone's gonna. No, everybody doesn't want to pay for it. They want a house. They don't want to pay for it. Do you know of any program?
I don't know of any programs, but I will say though is that any program can become a program if marketed the correct way.
Mm,
So I've seen some instances where the home is possible, home at last is worded completely different and where it's worded for this was a specific nurse program. And I tell the individual, send me that flyer that you received. And I start looking into it. I'm like, wait, this is the home is possible. It's just worded differently. So
mm,
if you guys ever hear of any programs out there, feel free to shoot it our way, and I'll be more than glad to research it and
okay.
let you know what it's about. Because the way that it works out, there's a lot of resources online where you can simply Google State of Nevada down payment assistance program. And it's going to bring this huge long list. And I'll tell you from experience, because I had a borrower send me this list. And I was like, wow, 20 programs. And I started looking into it. And I was like, I never heard of 20 down payment assistance programs in the Valley. So I started reading into it. And pretty much what they were doing is that they were breaking down every single option as a program. So they were saying, home is possible, FHA, first time home buyer program, boom, that's one. And then first time home buyer VA program, 2%, that's another one. So they just break it down in so many ways where it gives you this illusion that there's hundreds and thousands of programs out there when eventually it's the exact same thing. Okay. So yeah, there's programs out there. There's programs out there for sure.
Okay. Because everyone's asking these programs. So you're probably gonna, if you can say you don't want to answer this question or not, because I know lenders will not like the question I'm about to ask.
I'll answer. Go for it.
Okay, NACA program.
NACA program. I'll answer it for you. I tried a couple of NACA programs, and I'll tell you based on the experiences, is the NACA program will make you jump through hoops. They'll tell you one thing up front. When you get down to the end, it's completely different. Based on my own personal experience, don't let this affect you if you're currently going or trying to go to the DACA program, is that my buyers were told one thing at the beginning, which we went through with it, and then at the end, it turned out to be something completely different, in which I value my reputation tremendously. And that program really left a sour taste on my buyers. But then after I explained everything that happened, they were like, okay, it makes complete sense. So there's programs out there, they're good, but just be very cautious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else? The doctors program. Explain it to us.
Yeah, there's a doctor's program. So for those individuals that are fresh out of med school, they completed the residency and they've gone ahead and obtained employment. With the doctor's program, we can go ahead and use that employment and possibly exclude any student loans that you have, whether you have them deferred or are currently paying, to help you qualify for that of a mortgage. So that doctor's program is actually becoming very popular, especially here in the Valley. We have a lot of medical students that are graduating and jumping into the medical field that are becoming doctors. And usually when you go through medical school, a lot of these doctors do have a good amount of student loans, which if they were to go through a traditional mortgage, they wouldn't qualify because they have to take those student accounts into consideration when we measure the debt to income ratio. As opposed with the doctor's program, we could potentially exclude those liabilities and base it off the income that they're about to obtain. That's a really good program. Take advantage of it for sure. There's a lot of individuals that complete school, they have these student loans, especially in the medical field, where they just disqualify themselves without talking to any lender. I'm not going to qualify. I have a bunch of student loans. It's like, wait, hold on. Well, let's talk a little bit, And then once we get to know them and we find out that the doctor program is a fit, it's definitely a good route to explore.
Okay. Now, I don't know if we have any entrepreneurs out in the audience. A lot of people, they start a business or something. They want to buy a house, 6 months into it just because the business is doing well. Now, I believe you need either 2 or 3 years of actual good times with the businesses to actually try to get a loan. Explain that one to me.
Yeah, so if you're an entrepreneur out there and let's say you went ahead and now there's a lot of different scenarios that we can go back and forth with, but I'll give you the most common. A lot of individuals leave their 9-to-5 job to go ahead and become an entrepreneur, which is great. And yeah, at 6 months into their business, they want to qualify for a mortgage. Well, if it's a brand new business, you have no experience managing that business or no experience in that field in the business, then yeah, the bank is going to want at least 2 years of your tax returns to be able to average out that income to ensure that you qualify for a mortgage. Now, there are certain exceptions that a lot of individuals are not aware of. So let's say you went ahead and let's say you were trying to think of an example that I had recently, but if you're working in a field and let's say you've been there for, I don't know, let's say 5 years, and then you decide to go ahead and take the leap of faith and start your own business doing the exact same thing that you were doing, then we could potentially do with just 1 year of tax returns. But there are other alternative loan programs such as bank statements where we can average out 1 year of your monthly deposits to use that for income as well for those entrepreneurs out there. But the most common is 2 years of tax returns to be able to average out the income. And I think answering this questions goes back to another one that you asked earlier, as far as what's the difference between now and '08. Back in '08, I mean, you just got to say, I'm running my own business that I opened up yesterday. Here's your mortgage. Boom. Now it's completely different. So you got to make sure you're legit.
Okay. Going into legit, we're still staying on entrepreneurs here for a second. Now, with entrepreneurs, you're allowed to write off a lot of things. You may have $1 million in actual income, but you're taxed on 20,000. By the time you write everything in the world off and do all the little tax things that you can do, like legally put your kids on it, and then they don't have to pay taxes, but you can write it off, and all these crazy things you can do. I have heard of some lenders who will actually go in and look at the books to say, even though you claim 20,000, you have the equivalent of $250,000 in income. Explain that one to me.
Yeah, so the way that it works out, whenever you go and do your taxes as an entrepreneur, you can be out there, you can be a hustler. You're out there hustling, making $1 million a year. But when it comes down to where the tax time comes, is do you want to pay taxes on $1 million, or after you write everything off, you take a loss? Well, I mean, you take a loss, you're not going to pay taxes. Of course, I'm not a tax advisor, so seek your CPA for this. But the way that we look at it in the banking world is we don't necessarily look at your gross income. We take a look at your net income. So if you make $1 million, but you write everything off, and at the end of the day, you're just claiming 20,000 in income, then the bank is only going to be able to use that 20,000 to qualify you. There are a couple of line items that the bank allows us to put back towards income, but those are very minimal. But if you're a self-employed individual and you're thinking about buying a home within the next 2 years or the next year, go ahead and don't hesitate to reach out. That way I can go ahead and explain more in detail as far as how it is that the bank analyzes your taxes to give you a better understanding.
Okay. Now, sticking with some loan products and stuff, so certain individuals, including those close to my heart, like veterans and military retirees and such, will have income that is completely non-taxed. So understand some banks, I don't know if all of them do, if you have, let's just make it up, $4,000 in veterans benefits coming in, let's say you're a disabled veteran. And what they will do is they'll plus it up by usually a figure like 25%. So they count it as if you had $5,000 of income. Explain that one to us.
Yeah, so whenever you have non-taxable income, which is very common with the veterans, if you're not paying any taxes, if you're receiving the non-taxable income, the bank does allow us to gross up your income to help you qualify for a mortgage, and it can be anywhere between 15, 20, or 25% that we're allowed to gross up to help you qualify for that mortgage. A lot of people are like, well, why are you grossing up my income? Well, it's because we know that your income is stable and you're able to qualify for this mortgage because it's coming directly from a trusted source. And that has made a significant impact with a lot of individuals in a very good way. Very good way.
Okay. Let's see. Are there any subjects that you've thought about that you would like to address?
Just, I'm still having conversations with I just want to run this scenario because I think a lot of individuals are in this scenario as well. It's more on the refinance aspect of it. I've had some individuals come in and say, and I'll talk about a specific scenario that I had this week that I seem to be losing sleep over it just because I'm truly passionate in what I do. So this individual, she had a 4.5% interest rate, currently paying $1,100 on her mortgage, and she just called me and said, "Hey Joe, I want to pay $30,000 off in debt, but I don't want my payment or my rate to go up." And I said, "Okay, well, we're going to be taking some money out. The rate is going to go up, so is the payment." And she's like, "Okay, go." And so I crunched some numbers for her, and her payment was going to go up $200, so her payment was going to go up to $1,300. Yeah, her mortgage rate was going to go from 4.5 to 5.875. And she almost lost it. And I said, "Wait, let's talk about this. You're going to pay off $30,000 in debt right now. When I add all your liabilities from your credit cards debt, you're paying over $2,100 a month.
Mm.
You're gonna end up paying $1,300 with this 5.875. You're gonna eliminate all that debt. Now, if you want to continue paying at $2,100, you're more than welcome to do so, and you're gonna pay this mortgage off in 15 years when you've only been in it for 3.
Okay.
So I seem to be losing sleep over it because she's so hung up on the rate, which I believe a lot of individuals are so hung up on the rate. But we got to stop just looking at the rate and view the overall picture. View the overall picture, folks, and take advice from individuals that are in the industry. Because when I spoke to her at the beginning, she said was all in for it. Oh my, Joe, yeah, this works perfect. But then she calls me the next morning and says, Joe, I spoke to my neighbor and he says that the rate's gonna go up, so it's not good to do it. And I said, okay. So is your neighbor a mortgage lender or no, 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 no. He works in the casino. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe take advice from those individuals that are in the business to really put you in a financially stable place that's going to benefit you not only now but in the future as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, talking about topics out there is just the rate. Don't get so caught up on the rate. If it makes financial sense, if you qualify to buy a mortgage and you're looking at all these price reductions, just simply waiting for the homes to continue decreasing, 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 it's like, yeah, you're on the sideline, but so are thousands and thousands more of individuals. And I'm the individual that if someone's going left, I'm gonna go right just because I want to do the opposite of what everybody's doing. And we need to start thinking this way in the fact that when we see price decreases, is stop waiting. Okay, they're decreasing. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. No, jump in it now. Jump in it now. Now is the time to create some tremendous wealth because this is really where winners become winners. A lot of individuals build wealth when others freak out. And right now is the time where that opportunity is upon us. So take advantage of it. Don't get so caught up on the rate. Don't get so caught up on the rate.
Okay. Well, the stuff that you've been, trying to tie this up in a pretty little bow here. The stuff what have you been seeing over the last few weeks since we hit that wall and the market hit an inflection? Because I know we have fewer sales out there. A higher percentage of them are cash buyers purely because the regular buyers are sitting on the sidelines and everything. What have you actually been seeing with the buyers?
With the buyers, I've seen them. I've seen everything from 0 to 100. I've seen some individuals come in so excited. They went into contract. They want to close this home. Let's do it. 5.5 sounds well. My payment is perfect. Right in line. Right where my rent is. Let's do it. And I've seen some individuals where are just like, nope, not doing anything in the 5s. Nope, 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 nope.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to continue paying 100% interest on your rent? Yeah, that's fine because the houses are going to continue dropping. I'm like, you got to jump in it now. So what I'm seeing is individuals are either all in or not in at all.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be all in. You got to understand that this is some major, major opportunities that you got to capitalize on. If you qualify for a mortgage, take advantage of it. Because those cash buyers are coming in left and right and scooping up all those opportunities that everybody's waiting for. Because I can tell you, if the homes, like everybody's waiting for the homes to continue to drop, and you're going to look to obtain some financing in the next couple of months, and the homes continue to price decrease, you're going to get beat out by these cash buyers. They're not going to seek financing. You're going to seek financing, so do it now. Do it now.
Okay. As far as cash buyers, as I can see, I just ran the numbers over the last, for the month to date. 34.2% of all home sales here in the Valley were cash.
Look at that.
That's actually up. It used to be 31%.
Look at that.
But a lot of that could be accounted for by the regular buyers just sitting on the sidelines.
Yep. So what advice do you have, Eric? What are you seeing out there for individuals that are in the sidelines, whether I don't know if I should or not, and they have some solid income coming in from a trusted source that the income is going to be stable?
Well, the biggest issue that I'm starting to see here is, believe it or not, we are still in a seller's market. As bad as it looks, by definition, in theory, we're in a seller's market. Thing is, it doesn't feel like a seller's market because the buyers are sitting around waiting for the price to drop. which is causing the sellers who did not want to put their houses on the market for multiple reasons, including waiting for the top. They now see that it's the
Yes.
top and they're missing the top, so they're putting their houses on the market. Well, as more houses come on the market, the buyers are going, oh my goodness, there are more houses. So let me sit back a little bit more, which gets more sellers panicking and putting their houses on the market. And as we saw, we had over 1,800 price reductions in the last 7 days for a market of about 8,000 houses. I can pull it up and tell you the exact number of houses. And it's just a cycle and a circle of everyone causing it to actually go down. But at some point, somebody's going to realize that, wait a minute, we're in either a seller's market or a balanced market. Hopefully, we don't have an inflection where it just goes because so many buyers just popped out of the market. Because back in 2008, there were 22,000 homes on the market before everything happened. And our population was like, a 500,000 less back then.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 500,000 more people. And hold on, I want to actually pull this out here. Let's see, how many do we have active on market? So active right now, I'm just going to bring this down to Vegas. Sorry, Boulder City, you're out of it. Right now, for every housing type, we have 8,800 houses on the market. So about a third of what we had, a little bit more than a third of what we had in 2008 with 500,000 fewer people. So yeah, there's a huge difference between then and now. It's just that it doesn't feel like it. And this time it's not driven by fear. It's driven by the opposite of what happened, what was going on 3 months ago. 3 months ago, every seller expected what?
Yeah.
They expected 30,000 over on their property.
Yeah.
And now every buyer is expecting the prices to fall. No matter where they are, the biggest thing you have to look at is now the sellers are paying closing costs.
Mm-hmm.
So especially if you're in certain situations like a veteran where you can walk in scot-free. And I mean, as a matter of fact, let's talk about that, what sellers can do for concessions. I know for VA, it's a limit of 3%, correct?
3%, yeah.
Okay, and now let's talk about FHA and conventional. What can they give for FHA and
I
conventional?
believe it's 6%.
So you can give 6%. FHA loan is 3.5, 2.5 from a good lender who's not charging origination fees or anything.
Mm-hmm.
That covers your closing cost if they give you 6%. If
Yeah.
For a conventional, the lowest down payment. Down payment is what?
The lowest you come out of pocket is a 3% for your down.
3%. So if you get them to pay 6%, you've covered your down and your closing cost. If you can get them covered.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very, very common seeing the most common fear that I'm seeing coming across my desk is a lot of sellers, when I see the seller contribution, it's anywhere between 2.5% to 3%. So it pretty much covers all your closing costs.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty solid, Like you said, it's pretty interesting there because you touched on it that, people were waiting to put their home up in the market because they were like, I want more. I'm going to wait. And these individuals are the same ones that now looking at it from the buyer's perspective, the buyer is now saying, back then they were like, I'm gonna wait for rates to go lower. It's like 2% is pretty much free money. I wanted to go lower. I want to see the 1%. Well, now you're seeing 5-6%. It's like, so what's gonna be your excuse going forward? So just get off the sidelines, get moving, and get into a home.
Yeah. Well, we have a question here from Ninth Circle. So, what is the market for new construction? Be very honest. It's hit a wall too. And I'm starting to see things that I have not seen in 2 years. I'm starting to see guys with little signs going this way, pointing to the new bills. I haven't seen that in over two
Yeah.
years, and over the last 2 weeks, I've started to see them. The other thing is a lot of the new construction was not paying commission because they didn't have to. Everyone was just walking in. So why would they pay commission? I mean, why buy the cow when somebody's giving you milk for free? Well, they're not just paying commission, all except for one that starts with an L for all my uh, realtors out there. They're the only ones who are still holding out. So we'll see what happens with that. They're just holding out. The rest, they're not paying normal commission. They're paying like crazy commission. I saw one the other day. They were paying 5% commission uh, and giving a whole bunch of concessions to the buyer. So no, you're yeah. So you'll have to just figure out what the concessions are on that, and a lot of them are just offering concessions. The biggest problem is I saw. Let me see if I can pull this up and show you guys. There was actually an article. It was either this morning or yesterday, but I kind of saved it here. And it's actually talking about new construction. And one of the issues, oops, okay, let's see if we can do it this way, is there's a fear that all of the new constructions are going to just come to a halt. And they actually need to continue to build. So let me show you here. So if those of you don't realize, we are still 5.5 million homes in the hole. That's what caused all of these run-ups, although it doesn't feel like it now. There's actually fear that if these guys start pulling back, you're going to have an even worse problem in the future. So yeah, you can get in cheap right now, and I'm just talking about overall economy. But 5-6 years from now, you could end up in a situation that's worse than we had, 3 or 4 months ago, when everyone, I'm sorry, in this market was paying 30,000 over and such. Because I said I was on a conference call with a bunch of realtors, and I was just talking about how everyone's paying 30,000 over, and a guy piped up and he goes, "Why so little?" I went, "What?" He went, "In my market, everyone's paying $250,000 over." In San Francisco.
Oh my! Now everybody's gonna call you, Eric, saying, "Hey, I want to list my home for 500,000, but I want you to give me 750." Okay.
Yeah, no. Those days are over.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
past.
Yep.
But I hope for Ninth Circle there that answers the question. If you go in right now, uh, they are feeling the heat, just like resales are, and they are giving out massive incentives. Especially, here's one. As a matter of fact, this goes to lending also. One of the reasons they're having to do this is you have to look at the lead time of houses.
Yep.
Because of the shortage of materials, it was taking 8 months to complete a house. Well, what was the interest rate 8 months ago, Joel?
Oh gosh, you're looking in the threes.
Okay, so the interest rate's in the threes then, and it's in the fives or sixes now, right?
Doubled. Yep.
So if somebody qualified for a mortgage at 3%, back in October or November, and they were right on the line, what's happening right now?
Yep. You gotta
So
find cosigner or something because it's not gonna close.
yeah, so that's what's happening. A lot of those folks who purchased houses back in November, December, January, those houses are coming up for completion, and now they're trying to lock in their rates,
Yeah.
but they did everything based on 3%, and now they don't qualify. And that's why a lot are coming back on the market. I'm sorry, not coming back on the market. They're giving up their houses, which means the builders are doing kind of the opposite of what they did about a year ago. I think I had a video I did on this one where I was talking about whenever a house dropped out, they would raise, like, put it back on the market in MLS and raise the price by $100,000 from the person who bought it before. And if see, I did two separate videos where it talked about what happened in Atlanta a few months ago, where they canceled everyone's contract because they could sell the houses for more, and what happened in Texas a little bit ago, where they basically told the folks like days before they were supposed to close, yeah, we want another $100,000 because that's the market value of the house now. So the worm is turned.
Yeah. Interesting. So back again, that's a lot of opportunity if you view it the right way, you know? How does the saying go? Someone else's laws is another individual's win, you know?
Well, they also say when there's blood on the streets, profit can be made.
Yep.
So as long as people feel like it's some kind of a housing crash, as a buyer, take advantage of it.
Yeah.
I am seeing houses just sit there, in all honesty. It's because buyers are just sitting around. I've got 3 listings right now, and they're sitting there. And I've been talking to other realtors. They're having the same thing. One of my listings, a realtor called me up and just like, hey, how's your listing doing? And it's like, nobody's coming to it. And she was like, yep, the same here. And we've actually been communicating. It's like, okay, the weekend's over. Any traffic?
Yeah. It's interesting, man. Yeah, because that's the environment that we're in. And you, like you said, it's not so much that individuals are not qualified for it, it's just individuals are on the sidelines just waiting to see what's gonna happen. It's like, don't wait for the next move, make it yourself, you know? So it's interesting environment for sure. Market is shifting a little bit, but a lot of opportunity. A lot of opportunity.
Okay. And I want to close the circle on ninth circle there. I hope I answered your question. If not, pipe back in and I'll try to get that answered if I did not get it answered to your satisfaction. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? I see there are a few people online here. If you do, we're going to stick around for a second, ask any question about real estate or loans. As that comes up, I'm going to give a pitch here, and it's to all lenders. A lender one time put it that going to the lender is like going to the dentist. It may be something you have to do, but you don't want to do it. Going to the real estate agent is like Disneyland because everybody wants to go out and see houses. Everybody likes to go out and see houses. Start with a lender. You will not realize what it can do for you, because I don't know how many times I've heard people go, oh, I know my credit's good. I'll just go and apply because I don't want them pulling my credit just yet. Then they find the perfect house. And this is not in today's age where everything's selling, was selling in a weekend. Now you can possibly get away with that. And then they go and they find there's something in their credit report that they didn't even know about. And what was in there was even false. Without getting into the young lady's situation, the one who was moving from the Midwest, who thought she had everything straight, and then found that some timeshare had put into her record that she had defaulted on a timeshare. She's never owned a timeshare. Remember that one?
Yeah, sure do. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And here's another one. Like I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little fat. Like some people, they'll join a gym, they won't go until they get in a little bit of shape. Well, some people sit there, I want to do this and this before going to the lender. I want to clean this up. Go to a good lender, because they'll tell you, one, what you need to clean up. Because the moral of the story I just told is this individual called up the timeshare, and the timeshare just said, oh, do this, this, and this, which the individual did. And it caused because of the way it was done, it caused the individual not to be able to buy a house for, was it 2 or 3 years?
Yep.
Yeah. So, make sure you get that in order properly. So let's see here. Okay, I can't pronounce it. No, they're not going to drop to that. At some point, this is going to catch back up. I do see them maybe dropping another 10 or 15 because they were so overpriced to begin with. But past that, I really don't see it. There is no way a $400,000 house is going to drop back to 300. A 400 may drop to 385, 390. The biggest issue you're going to have is the Fed is going to be raising the interest rate, even though interest rates are not dictated by the Fed funds rate. They're dictated by the 10-year bond rate. If you've noticed, since the Fed has started raising rates, uh, the interest rates for mortgages have gone up. How many more times are they raising rates this year, Joel?
There are two more times.
Two more times.
One coming up this week, and then another one in September, I believe.
Okay.
So yeah, they're gonna go up for sure. But in the near future might be a different story.
Okay. And even though they're not supposed to be tied, because this is supposed to be based on the 10-year bond, anything you've been reading why they've gone up? It's just the change in the 10-year bond or what?
Yeah, so investors are just trying to get more bang for the buck. You know, the dollar's only carrying them so far, where they got to make it up by charging a higher interest rate. And yeah, when the Feds raise the rate, when I get too technical, but when the Fed raises the rate, it doesn't necessarily impact that of the mortgage. It impacts other sources that eventually crumbles down to that of the mortgage rate and passing those costs to the consumer.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Well, we're at the witching hour. I just want to make sure anybody else has any questions, and I hope. Oh, I get it now. Is you love Michelle? Okay, you love Michelle. If you have any more questions, go ahead and ask those. Anybody else? We'll start winding down here. Uh, I'll try to make sure that my assistant puts information Joel sends along with his contact info in the remarks afterwards. So if you're watching this in the future, hopefully by Monday morning, my assistant will have that in there. Uh, oh my goodness, I forgot. I mentioned last year I was going to not last year, last live stream. I thanked everyone for me hitting 1,000 subscribers, and I was going to run a contest kind of thing, a drawing to give away something. Well, it seems to me, and I didn't know this ahead of time, that you can't exactly pull the information easily of who your subscribers are, and you can't get their emails. So I got to figure out a way to thank everyone to getting me to where I am. I know 1,000 doesn't seem like a lot, but in real estate, 1,000 is a lot. 1,000 is probably equivalent to 100,000 on a gaming channel, because real
That's
estate
awesome.
channels have a very low. I don't know. Only people who are really looking for it, and it's not entertaining. So people have been sitting around listening to this, but in all honesty, it's educational and not entertaining. And I don't mean educational like Baby Shark or whatever. So it's a completely different audience. And if you start to notice a lot of these real estate channels that are really talking real estate, I know guys who are considered superstars who have, when they hit 5,000 subscribers. And one of them is like, he's at like 11,000 now. He's literally going out. He's speaking on stage everywhere with 11,000 subscribers. So it's a different market. So I appreciate getting to 1,000. Okay. And you love Michelle. I thank you also. I do not see any other questions. Joel, thank you again. Hope to have you again in the future, because people need to understand that lending is as if not more important than the real estate side. Because I'll be honest, a monkey can do this job. And that's why so many people get into real estate, and why so many people got into it during the COVID crisis here. It's because it really, it takes more time to become a barber than a realtor.
Yeah.
But I'm serious. The real skill is in the lending because you got to get sometimes creative to get stuff done. An offer is an offer. Every realtor is BSing you, and they talk about they have a special program to sell your house. The only special program is clean your dang house. I was going to make a video, so I'm going to make this one real quick. This is a personal issue with a family member. So, bruh, if you're watching this in the future, this is from love. Okay. Uh, if your house is up for sale, clean your damn house. Clean that house. If you have to, get a maid into it. Have your realtor take the best pictures and price it right to begin with. Even though things have changed a little bit, it will eventually sell because we're just going back to a normal market where it took 2 months to sell instead of a weekend. Okay. Clean your damn house. I'm sorry, I'm getting that from I have a referral out on a family member, and the agent has been giving me some words. We'll put it that way.
And it's easier to buy a home than people think, you know. I speak to individuals on a daily basis, and when they get pre-approved, they're like, okay, that's really all you needed, just two pay stubs, W-2s, some bank statements, and it's like, yeah, and we'll pull your credit, make sure you're good, and that's it, let's go. And then we close, and they get their keys, and they're like, wow, that was pretty simple because I've heard some horror stories. And it's like, no, I mean, it is what it is up front, no sugarcoating, like you said, Eric, no BS, straight to the point, and make things happen.
Yeah. Actually, before I close out, I wanted to talk to you about this one, and it's just as important. I don't think we need to mention names of these companies because we don't want to get in trouble. Uh, One of the reasons you want to go out as far as possible and having a lender look at your credit is because some of the lenders can actually help you clean up your credit for free. Now, there are those who charge you, what is it, $95, $99 a month or whatever, and they just clean one item a month so they can string it along as long as possible. How many? I'm going to mention this individual. You may even be watching. I ain't going to mention names, but you know who you are. This individual came to me and said that they were never going to be able to buy a home in their life. 6 weeks later, what were they? I was like passing what to them?
Yeah, the keys, man.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
yeah. So you know the story I'm talking, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't know what you don't know. A lender can clean up things. Uh, you may be out there thinking you're cleaning up your credit and you're doing things in the wrong order. Whereas I think what do you have to do? Just do one item.
One item for it was like $100, and he's like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Just go and do this, but make sure you do it just like I'm telling you. Do this."
Mhm.
And then he's
Right.
like, "All right, Joe, I went ahead and do it. I'm trusting." I'm like, "Yeah, just do it." Went sure enough, went ahead and did it, and then 6 weeks later, he handed him his keys, and beyond ecstatic, man. And I
Yeah.
remember he called me that Sunday night before we closed, and we were talking on the phone for a while. And all he was telling me was like, "I just can't believe this is actually happening, Joe." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not complex, you know. Sometimes we make things more difficult than they really are. And buying a home should be pretty. It should be a pretty cool experience, and
Mm.
it's an amazing experience. And I think everybody deserves a smooth transition, smooth transaction.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, I don't sit there and like go, hey, use me. If you want to, that's cool. I'm cool with it. If you don't, I'm giving you all the information you need to get your transaction done. It's out of love for you guys, okay? Uh, if you want to throw me some love, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and throw it. I got my 1,000, so I'm happy.
That's awesome, man.
But you know, I could do more. I'd love to speak on stage and pretend I'm
Yeah,
a big guy with 10,000 subscribers.
yeah, man. And you're gonna
All
get there.
right.
You're gonna get there by being yourself, man. That's what it comes
Yeah,
down to.
yeah. Okay. So anyway, I don't see any more questions. Uh, I haven't decided if I'm going to do it because I said during the summertime I was going to do this every other week. So it may be 2 weeks before I'm back unless I get a wild hair like I did last week and came in because it was my 1,000 subscribers special, so called, even though I have not been able to give those gifts out. I'm going to figure out a way. My assistant is working on it. She actually said she may actually like hand jam each one of them to a spreadsheet so we can run the contest and try to give those prizes out. Anyway, thank you guys, and I'll see y'all later. Don't forget, videos come out every week. You can watch those, and if you have a subject that you want me to cover, either on a live stream or a video that's interesting to you, just send it to me. I'll take a look at it. And I do apologize to some folks when you think I may have been ignoring your messages. Somebody is supposed to be reading messages you leave down below. That's why I say always call, text, or email, because I don't get a notification that you sent a message, and the person who's supposed to be reading those to see if you had something important for me has not been alerting me. They've been liking comments and stuff, but not like reading them and telling me that someone's saying, hey, I need your help. So remember, call, text, or email. Anyway, see you guys later. Bye, y'all.